Hey, hello. Greetings of the day, wherever you are. Hope you are staying safe and smart and having a good, pleasant weekend and already making plans for the rest of the weekend and the week ahead. So, the Indira Gandhi series continues. So, I just had some time this afternoon. I'm based in India, and today, being a Saturday, I have some time before I get back to my office work. So, if you see, yesterday I posted a video explaining the marriage event of Indira Gandhi. So, I wanted to top it up with one more video, which, because as I said, I was flipping through Gemini astrology book, and that particular book has like a series of key events analyzed for a person using the canons of Gemini astrology. So this one again is the next step. So the previous video was related to marriage, and then this one is related to the childbirth. So Indira Gandhi was blessed with a son uh, on the 20th of August 1948. Okay, so let me repeat. So this particular video is to analyze childbirth. Okay, and Indira Gandhi was blessed with a son on the 20th of August 1948, so roughly around 1 year after India became independent. So that is the year and month and the year, month, and the date of birth of Indira Gandhi's son, right? Okay, now let us analyze this event again using the same uh, principles and using primary directions and distributions to the node. So on the left side, you see the natal chart of Indira Gandhi, and since her son was born 1948, the right chart, the chart on the right is the solar return chart for November 1947. So 19 November 1947. So these were the return chart for the preceding birthday, right? So now let us analyze. Obviously, when we are talking about childbirth, we need to have fifth house connections, because the fifth house of the horoscope uh, denotes or signifies children, childbirth, pregnancy, and all those aspects. Right. So let us look at the directions in and around that time. So 1948. So here, if you see again, using the Delphic Oracle software, I have computed the primary directions and the bounds for Indira Gandhi. And since we're talking about August 1948, I think the most, I would say, relevant direction in and around that time is ascendant is directed to the bounds of Mars in Leo. So even when we were analyzing the marriage event, the same direction was in effect. So ascendant even at that time was directed to the terms of Mars, and even now the ascendant is still in the terms of Mars. So if you see the terms of Mars in Leo, it's like all the entire 30 degrees, and each a particular planet is allotted a band of degrees, right? So right now ascendant is almost in the fag end of the sign Leo, and will then enter Virgo. So ascendant, if you see, is basically in the terms of Mars in Leo. So basically ascendant is here, right? 24 to 30 degrees band in the sign Leo, right? So 24 to 30 degrees band in the sign Leo. Now just see, as I said, right, a lot of it is observation. We all need to develop that observation skill. It's a fine-tuned observation that is going to develop over the years. Obviously, now that I'm telling you as part of this video, it might look easy, but when I started looking at the chart, it took me some time to really observe these patterns. And like my guru says, the more we practice, the more we will get better at it. There is no shortcut, and it's not like going to be super easy where you will get like a textbook kind of combination and then say, oh yeah, this is why the event happened. Real astrology is not always like that. You really need to look at you really need to observe hot spot patterns, and many times it may go unnoticed, and that is where you have other ways to confirm, and you will not just have one technique to just predict an event. You will try to have multiple points of confirmation before you can feel fairly confident about a particular event taking place. And obviously the last step should be using transits. Okay, that said, so we know ascendant is directed to the terms of Mars in Leo, and that is the band in 24 to 30 degrees, right? 24 to 30. Now 24 to 30 degrees Leo, if you see, if I superimpose this in the revolution chart, the solar return chart, so 24 to 30, so this is where somewhere you have the directed ascendant. So the directed ascendant is actually falling in the 5th house of the solar return chart. 5th house, children. So the directed ascendant is now falling in the 5th house of the revolution chart, and hence it has vibrations related to pregnancy, childbirth, and all those aspects. Right? Now again, ascendant is directed to the terms of Mars. Now look at Mars. Now Mars is the natal 5th lord, because the 5th house cusp is Scorpio. So Mars is the natal 5th lord, and Mars is also present in the 5th house of the revolution chart. So look at the influence on the 5th house. So you have ascendant directed to the terms of Mars. The directed ascendant falls in the 5th house of the revolution chart. Mars happens to be the lord of the 5th house in the natal chart, and also placed in the 5th house of the revolution chart. So obviously we know she was blessed with a boy, Rajiv Gandhi, son. So yes, so this definitely talks about, this definitely gives clues about childbirth. And also remember that Indira Gandhi was born at night, 11 p.m. So it's a nocturnal chart, and hence Mars is a benefic of the sect. I mean, when I say benefic, it's not benefic truly. It's in sect. It's not out of sect. Like in a night chart, Mars is in sect, Saturn is out of sect. In a day chart, Saturn is in sect, Mars is out of sect, contrary to the sect. So, and that way, and so this is again like two clues. I mean that that there is a strong influence or vibrations present around 5th house events, which childbirth being one of them. Now I was just thinking, okay, you have Mars. See, I agree that Mars is of the same sect or in the sect, and the directed ascendant is falling in the 5th house. But I was just thinking, what about the benefic influence? Okay, now this happens around the year 1948. So the solar return is 1947. Now she has completed 1947 minus 1970. This time no subtraction mistakes. So she has completed 30 years. Okay, she has completed 30 years, and she is running her 31st year. So when you say 31st year, subtracting it from the nearest multiple of 12, 31 minus 24 is 7. So the 7th sign from the ascendant sign is now the perfected ascendant sign. So 7th sign from Cancer is Capricorn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the perfected ascendant now actually reaches 27 degrees of Capricorn. So Capricorn, 27 degrees Capricorn, this is the perfected ascendant. Okay, 27 degrees of Capricorn. Okay, so the lord of the year is Saturn, because Saturn is the lord of Capricorn. So the lord of the year is the planet Saturn. So Saturn is the lord of the year. Okay, now let us look at now because Saturn is the lord of the year, Saturn also becomes an important chronocrator, right? And you have to look at any directions. I mean, I would say you have to look at aspects to the planet Saturn, whether Saturn is getting any 5th house kind of connections. Now again, this is where I said observational skills matter. So if Saturn is the perfected ascendant, or the perfected ascendant lord, the perfected ascendant we know is 27 degrees of Capricorn. So this is like the new first house, from a perfected chart standpoint. So what would be the perfected fifth lord? So if this is the perfected ascendant, so this is the perfected second lord, perfected third lord, perfected fourth house, perfected fifth house. So perfected fifth house is basically 26 degrees of Taurus, and hence the perfected fifth lord is Venus. So Venus is the fifth lord of the perfected chart. So imagine that now you have a perfected ascendant, so you could create a new chart with Capricorn as the first house. Aquarius will be the second house. So that way, if you see, Venus happens to be the fifth lord of the perfected ascendant. Now see in this chart, okay, Venus is at 24 degrees and Saturn is at 29 degrees. And why Saturn? Saturn is the lord of the year, right? So within 5 days, Venus roughly moves 1 degree per day. So in 5 days, Venus actually reaches 29 degrees of Scorpio and it trines Saturn. And what is Venus? As I said, Venus is the perfected fifth lord. So a benefic Venus, perfected fifth lord, okay, is trining the lord of the year, Saturn. So there is again a strong benefic fifth house connection. So as I said, right now this is at 24 degrees of Scorpio. In 4 or 5 days it reaches 29 degrees of Scorpio. And as you know, Scorpio, Cancer and Pisces, they form a trine. So Venus casts a trinal aspect on the revolution Saturn. Okay. One could also look at revolution Saturn as very close to the cusp of the fifth house, but it is still not the same sign, and there will be a lot of, and then somebody will say it is retrograde and stuff. So let's not even go there. I also had this initial observation, but then it is quite clear that that Venus is actually casting a trinal aspect on the lord of the year, which is Saturn, and Venus is the perfected fifth lord. So I would say these are strong support points for the birth of a son to take place. And as I said, there is a lot of a male planet, Martian influence, where Mars happens to be the fifth lord. Ascendant is in the terms of Mars. It is also happening in the sign of Leo, which is a masculine sign. So I mean, that's something which supports the birth of a son. So I just hope you like this video, and maybe we'll have 1 or 2 more videos related to Indira Gandhi, maybe the assassination video shortly. But I hope you are able to follow this to some extent and really appreciate the actual way to use this particular method of primary directions and distribution through the bounds. Obviously, if you try to get into the mathematics under the hood, it is a whole new level of complexity. As I said, you need to be very good with spherical geometry, trigonometry, logarithms, and of course a very fine sense of visualization and stuff. But yes, keeping that apart, and someday I will try to demystify those concepts as well, without getting bogged down by the underlying mathematics, but you'll at least get a sense of what exactly do we mean by ascendant is directed to the bounds or terms of a particular planet and primary directions, this kind of thing. I will do that, but then I encourage you to appreciate a practical application of this technique. So with that, I would like to sign off. I hope you enjoyed this video and it has been very informative. Again, I'm saying, on the internet, or maybe you search for a blog or you search for videos, I don't think anybody is posting such in-depth videos and analysis around this concept of how to go about using primary directions and distribution through the bounds. And hats off to my guru who has been guiding me on this. My deepest respects to him, and he is the best. With that, signing off. Thank you so much, and continue to have a nice weekend, guys. Bye.